The situation in Spokane, Washington has changed dramatically, but the wildfire emergency is far from over. What began as a rapidly spreading wildfire on Saturday has now developed into a complex emergency involving 3 major fires across the Spokane area. And tonight, there is a critical change that residents need to understand. The Old Trails Fire, which initially became the biggest immediate threat to northwest Spokane, is no longer the only major concern. Fire officials say the Autumn Lane Fire has become the most active fire within the complex, while crews continue working to hold the Old Trails and Fairview fires. More than 600 structures have already been destroyed, with the local officials putting the latest estimate at approximately 640 structures, and warning that the number could increase as crews gain access to damaged neighborhoods. The 3 fires have burned approximately 5,390 acres combined according to the latest local reporting, and evacuation orders remain in effect across parts of Spokane County. This is not the moment for residents to assume the worst is over, because a wildfire can appear to stabilize in one neighborhood while another fire front becomes more dangerous just miles away. In this report, we're going to show you what has changed since the first emergency alerts, which fire is currently receiving the greatest attention, where evacuation orders remain in effect, how firefighters are responding, and what the next several hours could look like. And stay with us until the end. Because there is one critical mistake emergency officials do not want residents making right now: returning home simply because the flames are no longer visible. The wildfire emergency began Saturday as dangerous fire weather hit eastern Washington. The Old Trails Fire rapidly expanded through dry vegetation northwest of Spokane. Strong winds pushed the fire through grass and brush, allowing flames and embers to move quickly toward populated areas. The fire eventually crossed the Spokane River and threatened neighborhoods on both sides of the river. Thousands of residents were ordered to evacuate, and emergency crews were suddenly dealing with a wildfire threatening homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure. But the situation evolved quickly. 3 major fires, Old Trails, Fairview, and Autumn Lane, were brought together under the name Spokane Area Fires, or the Spokane Complex. The latest reported combined footprint is approximately 5,390 acres, but the acreage alone does not tell the story. These fires are burning close to populated areas, and that is why the structural damage has become so significant. The Old Trails Fire remains one of the most destructive components of this emergency. Hundreds of structures were destroyed during the initial explosive growth of the fire. Local reporting has put the current estimate at approximately 640 structures destroyed, although officials continue to emphasize that the number is preliminary. Why? Because firefighters and assessment teams cannot immediately enter every burned neighborhood. Some areas remain unsafe because of active fire, downed power lines, unstable structures, and lingering hotspots. That means the true damage total may not be known for several days. And there is another important development. Fire officials reported that the Old Trails Fire was holding more effectively than during its initial explosive run. That is encouraging. But it does not mean the fire is out. It means crews have been able to slow or stop significant growth in portions of the perimeter. That distinction is extremely important. The Fairview Fire is another major component of the emergency. It forced Level 3 evacuation orders in parts of the Meade area as the fire threatened nearby communities. Latest reports indicated that Fairview had also become more manageable compared with its earlier rapid growth. But evacuation orders have remained an important part of the response. Residents should not interpret a reduction in visible flames as an automatic clearance to return. Fire behavior can change quickly when wind conditions shift, and emergency officials are continuing to monitor the perimeter. Now comes the development that could define the next phase of this emergency. The Autumn Lane Fire has become the most active fire within the Spokane complex. Firefighters have been shifting resources toward this fire because it continued to show growth while crews were able to hold portions of Old Trails and Fairview. That means the center of gravity of the emergency has moved. This is no longer simply a story about the Old Trails Fire. It is a moving wildfire complex, and firefighters have to defend multiple communities at the same time. The scale of destruction is becoming clearer. More than 600 structures have been reported destroyed, with the latest local estimate around 640 structures. Officials have warned that this number is not final. The fires have also forced thousands of residents from their homes. Evacuation zones have expanded and changed as the fire behavior evolved. Some areas remain under. Level 1, get ready. Others have been placed under. Level 2, get set. And the most dangerous areas remain under. Level 3, go. A Level 3 order means residents should leave immediately. Not after finishing the rest of the packing, not after waiting to see which direction the smoke moves, and not after checking whether a neighbor has left. Go means go. Another major consequence of the fires has been widespread power disruption. At one point, approximately 60,000 customers were reported without electricity in the affected region. Power outages during a wildfire create additional problems. Traffic signals may stop working. Residents may lose access to air conditioning during extreme heat. Phones and medical equipment may become difficult to keep charged, and evacuation information becomes harder to receive. For that reason, authorities have repeatedly emphasized the importance of having backup batteries and staying connected to official emergency alerts. Washington State has now moved into a major multi-agency response. Governor Bob Ferguson declared a statewide emergency as dangerous fire conditions intensified. The state also imposed a burn ban as officials warned that heat, dry fuels, and wind were creating conditions capable of producing explosive fire growth. Thousands of firefighters are working across Washington. Resources have been brought in from outside the state, and the Washington National Guard has been activated to support the emergency response. Incident management resources have also been mobilized to help coordinate the growing operation. One of the most significant developments was the arrival of California Team 7, a multi-agency incident management team that was redirected toward Spokane. The team assumed command as officials worked to coordinate firefighters, aircraft, engines, and other resources. This matters because the Spokane fires are occurring during a much larger wildfire emergency across the western United States. Firefighting resources are being demanded in multiple states simultaneously. That means commanders have to constantly evaluate: where is the fire growing? Which communities are most threatened? Where can aircraft operate safely? And where will additional crews make the biggest difference? The next phase of the Spokane wildfire emergency depends heavily on the weather. Old Trails and Fairview are showing signs of being held, but the Autumn Lane fire remains active and evacuation zones can change quickly. Level 1. Get ready. Level 2. Be prepared to leave. Level 3. Leave immediately. If you've evacuated, do not return until officials say it is safe. Watch for downed power lines, hot ash, unstable structures, and hidden embers. For emergencies, call 911 and rely only on official evacuation updates. We'll continue bringing you verified developments. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this report to help keep others informed. Stay alert, stay safe.